So you spent about 2.5 years.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Got over in 96.
Fighting this thing. And finally, the trial starts. But at this point, bad press has been everywhere. They went after Snoop, plus his history with gangs. So they really went after you guys hard. And in November of 95, the trial finally starts.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Opening statements happen. Opening statements begin. David Kenner presents his case. Donna Ray presents his case. And we weren't separate on our trial, so they tried us together. And I remember David Kenner and Donna Ray saying that you guys are going to find out that not only did McKinley Lee fire in self-defense, but he saved 2 lives at that time. You're going to find out that McKinley Lee, everything that he said was truth and was accurate. And you're going to find out that he was told that he was too detailed and too articulate, that he must be lying. You're going to find out that there was so much wrong. The prosecution lost evidence. They lost evidence in the case against us.
They lost evidence.
They lost the bullet. They lost the shirts. They lost everything. Things like that. It was the handling of the case was all wrong. Everything. But you guys didn't hear that. So if you go through and just search the records, you'll find out things like that. So they put on the, opening statements happen. The prosecution, gets up and said that you're going to find out that Snoop had a gun. You're going to find out that there was a chase. You're going to find out that he was shot in the back. They're going to find out that all these things. They were trying to paint this picture.
All these lies.
All these lies. Now check this out. This is the only question I have. Why did they put on, I think it was 125 witnesses, 125 people, or whatever, something like that, right? But then they don't put on his guys that were with him until the end of it. So we had to wait all of this time. The jury, the attorney, the judge, everyone had to wait. Now remember that during the grand jury indictment, everything is videoed, right? So now they have to go back and replay this video in front of the jury. Why do you think we didn't put a case on? We didn't need to put a case on. Because everything was already told at the grand jury indictment. The jurors got to watch it. They got to hear the testimony. They got to hear everything at the end.
Wow. They brought in 125 witnesses?
I think it was something like that. Maybe it was a lot of them.
This went on for months, right?
It went on for months, man.
Every day you have to go there and hear these witnesses.
Now listen to this. This is from...
Are these cop witnesses?
So everybody. These are witnesses. These are neighbors, old girlfriends of the deceased, police officers, investigators, private investigators, hired people. It was ridiculous. From the very beginning till through trial. From the beginning of the case, right, all the way through trial. That many people.
Sheesh, that's a lot of people. Pointless people to bring in.
Pointless.
So finally at the end, who all do they bring in? Do they bring his friends in?
No, they had the testimony on video. They had the testimony. Okay. And so they had to come back to court and react it and testify to what they had said. So they couldn't perjure themselves.
Oh, okay. So they admitted to lying, but eventually they told the truth?
No, they admitted to telling the truth on video and right now. They didn't lie. They just took the gun, and they did that.
Oh, okay. So they didn't admit to taking the gun till
the grand jury indictment.
Till the grand jury indictment.
The grand jury, they came and they told the truth. Imagine that. But they still indicted us. They still did it anyway. And they knew they didn't have a case. They tried to build a case. They tried to make one.
Railroad you guys.
That's exactly what they tried to do.
And Dr. Dre never came to the trial?
No, couldn't.
He couldn't?
No, he couldn't. He was advised not to. Yeah. He was advised not to.
And who all came to the trial to support you guys?
Our families.
Families?
Our
Suge?
families. You know, our family. Yes, Suge was there when he could have been, but it was. We were advised not to have. You know, can you imagine? You know, it's like, you know, having the Beatles and they're there for, you know, like Michael Jackson or something. You know what I mean? It was just too overwhelming, and the courts were. It was crazy because we were already we're told by the court to to keep things to a minimum because the whole hood would have been there, good. I mean, good and bad. You know what I mean? And it could have went bad. So they didn't want any of that. It could have been bad there for you having another star there. You have Dr. Dre there. You have Suge there, and you have all these other stars that wanted to come, but they sent their love. Like MC Hammer sent his love, and Michelle A, and all these other people that were, really embraced us.
Because I think I remember in the interview, Tupac was like, "Dre, you gotta give me that. You gotta give me that."
Because they were trying to make
fresh out. I'm home.
Yeah, they were trying to make Dre happy. I mean, Dre was trying to make Pac happy. Everybody, it was a happy environment. It didn't get messy until, Dre didn't want to show up to court for Snoop to support him. And Pac, as we know, is a loyal mother.
Dre didn't go to any of them?
Not a day to support him. What happened in that matter was the witness kept naming, saying Dr. Dre. It was the guy, Dr. Dre, that was the shooter. Dr. Dre. And so David Kenner being a lawyer, lawyers like to play games. He's like, hey, Shug, we need Dre to come to court so I can just put him on a stand and ask him who is he? And so when he say Dr. Dre, everybody gonna be like, discredit everything this witness saying because he was mixing up Dre with Snoop. He was, he knew the name. Okay. He thought Snoop's name was Dr. Dre. And so they were trying to play some game, and Dre didn't want no part of it. By this time, he got his own attorneys, Howard King and them and Peter, and all of them they was like, hey, don't be a part of none of that. You don't need to be part of none of that.